Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Monday, Easter Monday, the 21st of April 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Let's see what we got today. So we got bit sales. Did some massive testing today, did over 7 million transactions I think it was just in a couple of hours. So we'll just go over that. We'll have a look at the results of that coming in. An article here by you today saying 13,000 institutions hold a strategy stock. Saylor reveals. They're not going to be happy with him. Crypto decoupling becomes hot topic amid dollar plunge, supposedly. Cointelegraph saying a farmer's switching to stablecoins. Really? Altcoin unit bias absolutely destroying crypto newbies, says Samson Maria. Whatever. Some posts here from Craig. We'll just catch up with those. We'll have a look at some articles here from CoinGeek. Quick check of the price. Some 365 days of Bitcoin history. And then that'll be the end of the show. Right. Let's get into it.
See Satoshi like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go. So this is where it started today. Bitil said, update, we're going to stress test the BSV network within a 2-hour transaction load, or with a 2-hour transaction load. And at 7 hours ago, they said we just started with 1,000 transactions per second and pushing for more in a bit. Scott asked, "What's the highest number you're going to go for?" And Bitel said, "This is just a warm up. We added around 3 billion unspent transaction outputs to the UTXO set so far, and the goal is to use at least 2/3 of them. At that point, we're going to push as far as the miners can handle. That's 10,000 transactions per second would be a reasonable number. But if things go smoothly, we will push much higher numbers." All right, yeah, there we go. Here we go. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. And I think there was a conclusion to that as well. So at 4:07 p.m. they said, done for now. We're going to execute another within 10 hours. And Do Tai Well said, was there issues? Stopped abruptly. Is what's on chain showed. And they said no issues. We did the test with 7 million transactions per second in 2 to 3 hours. We will execute another 1-hour test. Then tomorrow or the day after, the real test begins. The real test begins. Come on. Come on. Beauty. So let's have a look at what went on today. So we got 7,269,055 transactions. And this is when they started. Look at that. So that would have been just 10 past 1, literally. Yeah, 10 past 1 this afternoon is when the transactions started flooding in. Look at that. Look at that. Straight up there. Showing here as op return, 7,219,488. Now bear in mind, this was between 10 past 1 and 10 to 4. So like 3 hours is what they were testing for, just a little under that. Now bear in mind that was 7 million transactions, and XRP at its peak could only do and can only handle 2 million transactions per second in a 24-hour period. We've done 7 million in under 3 hours. 7,259,735 in under 3 hours. Nothing can touch Bitcoin. Nothing can touch it. And these shitcoiners with shit for brains have no idea. But they'll see it. But by the time they see it, it'll be too late for them. Bad luck. You know, talk about a pig squeeze. Trying to get out of all their shitcoins. Imagine like a herd of pigs trying to get out of their shitty pigsty. That's what they're going to be stuck in, you know. Should they have wised up? Should they have listened to everybody in the space? Should they be listening to my show? I think so. But, you know, they'll learn the hard way. Right, you today says 13,000 institutions hold strategy stock. Michael Saylor reveals. So Vanguard is top MicroStrategy holder. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness me. So Vanguard is top MicroStrategy holder. That might explain his position. Despite its anti-Bitcoin stance, there might be some skullduggery going on behind the scenes there, because we know that Vanguard, State Street, BlackRock, all that, they all, in the Fidelity, they all invest in each other, you know, so that nobody can see that they're one big giant corp. So, you know, is Saylor actually nefarious, or is he just stupid? This would suggest he might actually be nefarious. He might be being paid by Vanguard just to push that piece of crap, to get people involved in it, just to keep the scam going. You know, and then Vanguard will back, you know, if things go to shit. Well, it's not like Michael Saylor's going to lose anything. It's the mom and pops and normie investors that have gone in. Michael's just simply using other people's money. That's it. Vanguard will bail him out, but who's going to bail out his investors? I'll tell you who. No one. They're going to get absolutely shafted. Absolutely shafted. Well, Strategy co-founder Michael Saylor has revealed that more than 13,000 institutions currently hold shares in his company. Ironically, Pennsylvania-based behemoth Vanguard Group, which is known for its staunchy anti-Bitcoin views, is the top MicroStrategy holder with more than 16 million shares. However, it is worth noting that it reduced its stake by 6.5% in the fourth quarter of 2024. Some other top institutions that hold strategy stock include BlackRock. Oh my goodness me, there we go again. UBS Asset Management AG, State Street Global, they're all in on it. Advisors, Cantor Fitzgerald Asset Management, and Morgan Stanley. On top of that, 814,000 retail investors hold the red hot stock in their accounts. Overall, 55 million beneficiaries also have indirect exposure to strategy shares via exchange-traded funds and pension funds and so on. As reported by You Today, Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, became part of the tech-heavy Nasdaq 100 index in late 2024 after securing enormous gains during that year. Strategy stock is up 5.73% on a year-to-date basis. Notably, it has outperformed the Nasdaq 100, which is down 13%. The company has attracted significant attention this year due to its massive Gregcoin shopping spree, which has now pushed its total Gregcoin holdings to more than 531,000 Gregcoin shitcoins. Oh my goodness. Most recently, Saylor strongly hinted that he was ready to announce yet another Gregcoin purchase. Yeah, I mean, it just stinks of BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, all over it. It is what it smells like to me. Stinks to high heaven, should we say? Let's have a look at this one then. So You Today, crypto decoupling becomes hot topic amid dollar plunge. So is crypto actually decoupling? The cryptocurrency community is buzzing with excitement amid speculation about the nascent asset class decoupling from the US stock market. Alex Thorne, head of research at Galaxy, has noted that's Mike Novogratz, I think, Galaxy. Has noted that Gregcoin and gold were both in the green while US stocks and Nasdaq 100 index were in the red. Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports also commented on the encouraging trend in a post on the X social media network. Ironically, crypto started recoupling with the US stocks right after Portnoy's comment as stocks extended losses. Gregcoin is currently changing hands at $86,961 after reaching an intraday high of $88,260. Still, the cryptocurrency is up by nearly 3% over the past 24 hours. Who cares? On it up and down like a horse draws. Meanwhile, US stocks are getting crushed again, with the flagship S&P 500 index dropping by more than 3%. The index is now down by nearly 13% since the start of the year. Oh, look, and going on about XRP here as well. XRP to get major institutional adoption boost in Asia. What the hell is this? Million, billion. Is that 21 billion? No. Yeah, that's a million. That's a billion. 21 trillion. 21 trillion Shiba Inu support is born. Dogecoin breaks into top 8 of cryptocurrency market. Oh god, honestly, it's such a shit. It is such a shitcoin site. It's embarrassing. Let's have a look at Cointelegraph then. So they've just got a few articles here. One of them says Metaplant tops 400 million Gregcoin holdings with new 28 million purchase. Not really too bothered about that. US dollar goes no bid. 5 things to know about Gregcoin this week. Not bothered. Bit gets $12 billion of Volix. Frenzy fizzled fast, but questions remain. Not bothered. Altcoin season to hit in Q2. Mantra's plan to win trust after they scammed everybody. Not bothered about. Stablecoin farmers, yet we'll read that one. Dogecoin holders, not bothered. Bitcoin up, not bothered. Vitalik Buterin, not bothered. Ethereum Foundation's not bothered. Altcoin bias, yeah, we'll have a read of that one then. So farmers are switching to stablecoins, apparently, according to Cointelegraph. Farmers are increasingly turning to stablecoins to facilitate cross-border payments, streamline operations, and gain access to global markets. Again, yeah, this is really what they should be doing. You know, you just need something on a network that's outside of the central bank's, stranglehold. We all need and buy it. Food is a common universal ground across the planet. It should come as no surprise then that the agricultural industry is enormous. In 2023, the European Union alone imported 154 million tonnes of agricultural products and exported 134 million tonnes more. The market is growing too, projected to expand by 3.45% annually from this year to reach $5.5 trillion by 2029. Yet farmers and agricultural traders are confronted with a serious problem. They need to export food abroad and interact with foreign currencies. The financial system, particularly in Africa, is, however, underdeveloped. Inefficiencies in their trade result in high transaction costs, delayed cross-border payments, and high interest rates for loans. Large corporations can better navigate financial hurdles, but this isn't always the case for small farmers, who suffer the most from outdated banking systems. Blockchain technology and stablecoins promise to smooth unstable waters for agricultural traders, eliminating intermediaries and providing financial inclusion. The technology gives farmers direct access to global markets, with Africa's food and agricultural market predicted to be valued at $1 trillion by 2030. Stablecoins stand to be much more than simply another financial trend for the industry. Let's say. Especially as we've got USD on BSV now. And also the Swiss franc, massive. 2 of the best coins you could ever want. Cross-border payments are hiding significant costs. Cross-border payments are the beating heart of agricultural trade, central to accessing resources such as equipment and seeds, or engaging in trade between countries. International transactions are vital to African agriculture, as exports within Africa represented only 17% of total African exports. Local banking systems are, however, underdeveloped and impede these payments to a shocking degree. A huge sticking point is that traditional banking systems are expensive. They charge farmers between 3 and 6% in fees. That's like another tax. This is no small matter when profit margins are already thin. Absolutely. It's a huge thing to pay. In transactions, the demand for an intermediary currency, typically the US dollar, leads to even more exchange rate losses. Often falling with the 3 to 10% range. This affects small businesses in Africa, which can pay nearly 200% more than larger companies to clear their transactions through formal channels. And if the expense wasn't bad enough, the process is also painfully slow. Farmers can expect to wait up to 120 days for payment settlements. These delays are devastating for businesses relying on a quick access to funds. They are forced to take out high interest loans with no immediate liquidity, further eroding their earnings. Stablecoins can fix agricultural trade. Frustratingly outdated financial systems hamper the global agricultural industry, but a glimmer of hope is arriving in the form of stablecoins. Poised to reshape the agricultural trade, crypto offers farmers 3 key pillars of transformation. Stablecoins mean farmers and traders can bypass banking inefficiencies. With intermediaries taken out of the picture, they can transact instantly and with lower costs. Farmers save between 3 and 6% per payment, and funds are received in minutes rather than painful waits for weeks or months. The result, these players have the working capital needed to stay in business. Traders can forget about unstable local currencies by pricing their goods in a stable digital asset. They can gain access to global markets. Fluctuating exchange rates will become a problem of the past. Businesses operating in countries with volatile currencies will feel that relief more accurately, as sudden devaluations in a currency, again done by the cabal, have the power to wipe out profits overnight. Absolutely, it's all about control for them, all about control. The agricultural trade is crippled by immense systemic fraud. Yep, there we go, just mentioned that. And supply chain inefficiencies. Again, BSV can fix all of that. With global food fraud costing $40 billion annually and global trade in fake goods another staggering $500 billion. Stablecoins could be a transformative in reducing the original movement of counterfeit goods across supply chains, making the industry far more efficient. Results are already being seen in Africa. Agri-businesses. Zimbabwe-based conglomerate Paragate, for example, is committing to blockchain to streamline payments to its supplier while improving cross-border trade efficiency. The company, which prides itself on growing and development across the continent, is just one of numerous African businesses getting behind stablecoins and reaping the benefits. Agriculture still faces global challenges. Oh, well, this is a massive article. Oh. Barriers to advance, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Mass adoption of stablecoins won't happen overnight, but agricultural trade struggling under the weight of outdated and intrusive banking systems are ready for a greater financial inclusion. Financial inclusion. But yeah, there we go. That was actually quite a good article. I enjoyed that one. Let's see what this scumbag here says. So altcoin unit bias absolutely destroying crypto newbies. Samson Mao. So a Bitcoin, that's a Gradecoin maximalist, Samson Mao, said that once you remove unit bias from altcoins, it becomes clear how overvalued altcoins like XRP, Solana, and Ether, I think that's going to be Ethereum, actually are. Jan 3 CEO Samson Mao says that's Gradecoin dominance hasn't yet exhausted its upside trajectory after analysing how altcoin prices would stack up against Gradecoin if all were on equal terms of total supply. He forecast for Gradecoin dominance to rise further. Oh yeah, it's only if they pump it with Tether. Comes as the ratio has already exceeded the levels many crypto analysts expected it would reach by late 2024. Unit bias is absolutely destroying the uninitiated, Mao said in an April 19th post. I want to see things though. They're saying, oh, altcoins and all that. I wonder if he's actually just talking about genuine Bitcoin here. He's getting worried. Mao suggested that unit bias, a psychological method in behavioral economics that suggests that individuals usually like to own a complete unit or stock regardless of its price and size, often causes less experienced investors to assume cheaper whole altcoins are better value than owning part of a Bitcoin. That's Gradecoin. Mao questions altcoin valuations on level playing field. Yeah, but doesn't question Gradecoin as an altcoin, which is the biggest fucking scam out there. You can buy 1/21 millionth of a BTC supply for $85,000, Mao said. He asked what happens if you remove unit bias from altcoins to calculate the equivalent of 1 out of 21 million. I can't be bothered with this shit. Just more pumping crap. Literally no substance in anything they say whatsoever. Right, let's see what Craig is up to then. Let's read the latest post. He said, this morning, air hums faintly, a prelude in the minor key to the slow awakening of Easter Monday. Light spills not in triumph, but in whispered benedictions, and the world outside the window sits hushed like a congregation after the last hymn. The sea, stretched wide and solemn, breathes in slow pulses, an old soul remembering. Palms rustle, not with the rush of wind, but with something gentler, reverence, the kind that does not proclaim a resurrection with trumpets, but with the soft insistence that today is the day for living differently. The bed, unmade, is not laziness, but evidence of rest, of the sanctity of slowing, of the refusal to rush back into a world too keen on forgetting what it never understood. For Easter Monday is not the crescendo. It is the echo. It is the moment after the stone had been rolled, after the tomb had been found empty, after the questions had started to weigh heavier than the answers. It is when belief must walk without spectacle, when faith must hold its own weight. And so, in the quiet luxury of a room veiled in linen and softened by salt air, there is a kind of holy refusal, a refusal to return unchanged, a choice silent and immense, to live as if the world has already been remade, to see each other, to see each act, each sip of water, each exchange of words, each choice to build as a defiance of mundane, as a declaration that glory, if it exists, must be found here, in this view, this breath, this moment, not in grandeur, but in the precise international beauty of simply being. To live is to create, and to create thus is to know. The stone was not rolled away for drama, but for discovery, for the light to spill not outwards, but inwards into the heart. Very, very poignant there. Very poignant. Like poetry in motion readings, reading Craig's stuff these days. Right, that's 20 minutes gone. Let's see if CoinGeek has got anything here that takes my fancy. Last week in crypto, lending sinks Ethereum, losing ground. Not bothered about that. OKX. DWF Labs coming to US as regulatory oversight vanishes. Anything there? The limits of smart contracts in real-world transactions. Event. Why domain name exits still hold the keys to an AI era tokenization. Let's see what this one is about. Scalable blockchains, tokenization and smart contracts are all in the headlines these days, with financial giants like Larry Fink loudly promoting the virtues of tokenization, and organizations like the Bank of International Settlements experimenting with digital ledger technologies. It seems the world's movers and shakers have woken up to blockchain's utility. While this can only be a good thing, it's essential to recognize that the possibilities and limitations of these interlinked technologies. For all their promise, smart contracts have one inescapable limitation. They do not and cannot exist outside the bounds of real-world law. Let's dig into why. The vision, a world powered by smart contracts. Smart contracts can best be defined as self-executing contracts with the terms written directly into lines of code. While that idea sounds simple, it has revolutionary implications. Smart contracts proponents imagine a trustless world of automated, unstoppable agreements, with everything from dividends to bonuses and winning bets being paid out without human administrators. Definitely need that. After all the shenanigans of William Hill and all that, not paying out bets. However inspiring this idealistic vision may be, it eventually runs up against reality. Like it or not, smart contracts intersect with legal, social and economic rules and norms, and where they violate them, the real world laws written in ink must always take precedence. In a nutshell, when the code conflicts with the law will and should supersede it. Well, the law is completely corrupt at the moment. Code may execute flawlessly, but that's not enough. The code is law mantra is parroted by many cypherpunks and the Ethereum advocates. To this type of person, Western legal systems are an outdated construct from a bygone era, and the power of decentralized immutable networks will render them ineffective in due course. However, we already have multiple real instances where the ideal flatters when faced with reality. In 2016, the Ethereum DAO hack happened because there was a conflict between the intention of the code and the reality of how it was executed. Ultimately, the Ethereum bigwigs had to intervene and roll back the blockchain to save the project for the existing whales of the network, but this move hurt anyone that made transactions on the chain that got rolled back. Here we have a perfect example of how code may be executed flawlessly, but not in an alignment with what was intended. This is just one somewhat abstract example of how a world governed by pure code would be far from ideal and could be extremely harmful. However, philosophical flaws aren't the only concern. When smart contracts collide with legal reality, the consequences can be far more theoretical. What happens when real-world law clashes with smart contracts? Now, I haven't really got time to read all that. We're 25 minutes already, but getting the gist of it, that's actually quite a good article, that one. Let's have a quick look at the price. Bitcoin versus Gregcoin. So Bitcoin just trending down a little bit. Trending up against the dollar just quickly. Some 365 days of Bitcoin history, the 21st of April 2011. Bit domains were created. They refer to the standard domains created on the Namecoin blockchain. They were widely regarded as the oldest NFTs on any blockchain. And then we've got nfthistory.org here, a wiki about it. Bit domains. Check it out. Creation date 21st of April 2011. Considered to be the first NFTs. Wow. Awesome. Right, there we go. That's 25 minutes. We'll leave you there. Hope you enjoyed it. So as ever, if you enjoy these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Senbit.com, Handcash.io, Rockwallet.me, Simply.cash, Relaser.com or Senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.